What's up, everyone? My name's PlatinumHowler. Today I'm bringing you a couple of post-commentated Wi-Fi battles. The team that I'm using for both games is a themed UU team that I built for a couple of reasons. One of them was to play in a UU tournament hosted by Twitch streamer Big Bad Brad. That is the first game that we'll be showing you, and then the second game is just a fun game against a friend. So let me know if in the comments down below if you would like to see more of this type of content where I just use standard teams that I've built. They're more battles post-commentated that or live commentated that aren't necessarily draft league battles. They're more just for fun. So yeah, let me know down below if you want to see more of that. And of course, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for even more content from me. So the first round of this UU tournament is against Oguchi. That's how he's known on Discord and Twitch. And he's got pretty much a mono poison team, which I didn't realize until after the match, that 4 of his 6 mons are poison types. And then his other 2 mons that aren't poison types, being Latias and Cloyster, I actually had them both together on my IBL D-League roster. So that's kind of a coincidence. But anyways, my team, I will go over it really quickly. It's like a sticky web offense team. So I've got Araquanid to set sticky webs, which is basically the only bulky mon on my team. It's a very bulky Araquanid meant to just get up sticky webs. And my Stealth Rocker is a lead Azelf, which I actually didn't lead with in this game. And we'll see how that comes back to haunt me later on. Mega Ampharos is the Mega. It's an agility set, so with Sticky Webs up and Mega Ampharos getting up in agility, I can outspeed pretty much everything that I would need to. Durant is max speed Hone Claws with Darkinium Z, and Nidoking is Sheer Force Life Orb for attacks. Chandelure is Colberberry with 3 attacks and Memento to potentially ease a setup opportunity for either Durant or the Ampharos. So getting right into this game now, I already mentioned that I decided to lead with not Azelf, and I led with my Chandelure because I knew that he was going to be leading with his Mega Beedrill right away, and Chandelure would be taking the least amount of damage from a U-turn. So yes, but I mean, I take little damage on the first turn, but right away I know he's going to be going into a Alolan Muck, which I can't really do a ton of damage to. And so yeah, I didn't really think much of this at the time, but he really didn't really consider the possibility of my Chandelure being Scarfed, which of course it's not, but I do like bringing Scarf Chandelure a lot when I bring it in my Draft League games. So if I had been Timid, Max Speed, Chandelure with the Choice Scarf, I actually would have outsped any form of Beedrill right there and been able to KO him with the Flamethrower. But he did risk the Scarf, and he just gets in the Alolan Muck. And I do have a Colberberry to take one knockoff from him, but it's not really helpful against Alolan Muck because he can just sit there and recover health constantly with Recycle Figgy Berry. It did not appear as if he were Assault Vest, so there's not much point in me staying in and just burning the Colberberry there. I do go into my Durant, and I take that decently well because I have a Z Crystal, so I'm not taking full damage from it. As he pivots into the Weezing, I miss my Iron Head, and this is my best opportunity to bring in my Araquanid and get my Sticky Webs up. I figured he might want to go for a Will-O-Wisp on that turn, but Araquanid, thanks to its Water Bubble ability, cannot be burned, and he's not doing hardly any damage to me with the Sludge Bomb either. So thankfully he doesn't get a poison on that turn. I set up my Sticky Webs, and I'm going to get right out of there. As he reveals the taunt on this turn, and I'm like, ooh, you went for that one turn too late. It would have been very helpful to you to not to taunt me on the turn that I was setting up my Sticky Webs to prevent them from going up. But I basically get my Nidoking in for free. Even if he went for Sludge Bomb, I 4 times resist it. It wouldn't be doing any damage to me. Now I'm going for an Ice Beam. That's my strongest move to hit this Weezing, but he's just going to stay in and Pain Split basically because he doesn't necessarily want to switch anything in here. On that turn, I went for a Sludge Wave. because I could tell that another Ice Beam wasn't going to be able to knock out the Weezing, so I did not want him recovering more HP from Pain Split had I gone for the Ice Beam there, and I figured that Sludge Wave, after he'd gone for Pain Split, he would be in range to die from another Ice Beam, and my Nidoking would end that exchange without losing as much HP. But he's actually going to decide to save the Weezing now and pivots into the Alolan Muck, eats his Figgy Berry, and the way that he did this, I was thinking that he was going to try and pivot into his Latias, expecting me to go for an Earth Power. But he actually stays in and clicks Ice Punch. So I think he must have thought at that range, after taking an Ice Beam and recovering his HP with Figgy Berry, that he could have survived any hit, like he could have survived an Earth Power from me. I don't think that he would have, but I kind of wish that I had just stayed in and clicked Earth Power at that point. But because he went for Ice Punch, Durant takes that a lot easier, and he switched out the first time, so I think he's going to switch out again. So I set up my Home Claws, and now this Weezing being weakened previously, I can just go straight for the Z move. There's nothing else on his team that I would want to burn the Z move against, so my Z move, my Dark Z move, is more powerful than my Stab Iron Head. So that's why I decided to click it against his physically bulky Mon, and it's going to be more than enough to knock out the Weezing. And I'm looking to be in a pretty good position here because I have my Sticky Webs up. He can't outspeed me with this Mega Beedrill. There's not much that he could. He couldn't do much damage to me with Mega Beedrill anyway. But he brings it in, and it just dies to an Iron Head. So I'm not really sure what he was thinking there. If he was max speed Latias, he could have brought that in and tried to KO me with a Dragon Pulse or something, or Thunderbolt or whatever he has, because Durant's special defense is pretty pathetic, and almost any special hit would be able to knock it out at this point. So Cloyster comes in, and for some reason, because he didn't bring this in the first time, I thought that he would not be Focus Sash and then he might be White Herb. But that was a dumb thing. That was a dumb thought process to have, because he came in on the Sticky Webs and White Herb did not activate. So he was very obviously Focus Sash. So at this point, my only play was to go for an Iron Head and hope that I got a flinch. And if I did, I think I would have just cleaned up the game with Durant, because he was not max speed Latias, and I would have been able to hit him with a super effective Crunch. So because I go for Superpower, the -1 in defense doesn't matter. He would have been able to knock me out anyway. But Durant goes down, and pretty much my best hope of taking a hit from this Cloyster at this point is to hope that Araquanid can survive a Rock Blast after eating its Ayapapa Berry. But he, of course, gets 5 hits because he's Skill Link with the Rock Blast. He connects the Rock Blast and is going to knock me out. So at this point, I kind of need a miracle for any one of my Mons to survive a hit from this Cloyster. Ampharos is going to come in and not Mega Evolve so that it doesn't become weak to his Icicle Spear, but I am not bulky enough to take 4 hits from this Cloyster. So that was probably not the wisest choice for me to bring in there. Next, Chandelure is going to come in, and I need him to... The only way that I come out of this without losing to this is him missing a Rock Blast or something, but he actually reveals Razor Shell. That had a 5% chance to miss, and of course it did not. I think I told him actually after this that if he's running Razor Shell, he should probably be running Liquidation, a much better move overall. It's 100% accurate and more powerful. So yeah, this Cloyster is just going to win now. Max Speed as Elf unfortunately does not outspeed this Cloyster, because it did come in on Sticky Web still, so after the Shell Smash it is only at +1 speed. But unfortunately that is enough to outspeed everything on my team. As Elf, Focus Sash doesn't matter, because multi-hit moves just don't give a crap about Focus Sash at all. And this Nidoking is going to be the last Mon that goes down to the Cloyster on my team. And this Cloyster could have been a lot less of a threat had I just led with my basically designated Focus Sash as Elf lead with Stealth Rocks. But I didn't do that because I was thinking that I would be too threatened by a Mega Beedrill lead, even though I could have survived any hit because of my Focus Sash. Like, I looked at his team and I saw Mono Poison, so I thought that maybe I should be saving my Azelf for later in the game and not just basically sacking it off to Mega Beedrill lead. But clearly that was the wrong decision because Cloyster was a much bigger threat than the Mega Beedrill in the end. If that Cloyster had come in on rocks damage, Durant at that point just won the game. So yeah, an error in tactics on my part, but that happens when you start using a new team. The second game here is where the true theme of this team comes through. So the reason I built this team is because friends in another server, they were meeting up in person and they had a great idea for a themed fun game that they could play with each other. So they decided that they would make teams using the letters of names in their respective country. So my friend Sventune from the LET server, he coached in the league last year, or last season, I should say. He is actually from Sweden, and he was visiting the United States to play in the VGC World Championships. So he's using his team here. He has S is for Snorlax, W is for Weavile. He has 2 E's for Electros and Empoleon. The D is for Mega Diancie, and the N is for Nidoking, just like I have Nidoking on my team as well. So Canada is where I'm from. So Chandelure is C is for Chandelure. I have 3 A's. So I knew right away that I had a lot of mega options in UU to choose from that started with A. And as it turns out, I chose Ampharos, which is actually RU. But I really wanted to give Ampharos a try. I think I've used some of the other A megas a little bit in the past, but I think Ampharos is a really cool choice here. So yeah, the N is Nidoking, of course, and 2 other A's are Azelf and Araquanid, and then my D is the Durant. So that is Team Canada for you. So this is actually not a straight UU battle, of course. Mega Diancie and Weavile are OU, but the other Mons are UU and below. So he definitely has the power advantage over me in this game, I would say. But this is just meant to be a fun battle anyway. It's funny, worth noting, the fact that he has Snorlax and Electros is kind of ironic. He's like turning the table on me because I had Snorlax and Electros on my LET Season 4 team, and I brought them both against him when I played him in, I think it was Week 7 of the league, and they both got kills against him. So now he's going to try and return the favor with those 2 Mons of mine. But anyway, between the UU tournament game and this game, I did make a couple changes to my team. Originally, my Azelf had Energy Ball as a secondary attack option. It has Stealth Rock, Taunt, Psy Shock, and now it has Dazzling Gleam so that I can hit Dark types better, as well as one thing that I faced in the last game that didn't hit the field, which was Latias. I could have been able to hit that super effectively and prevent him from coming in on me and defogging away my hazards as easily. Nidoking, I had 4 attacks originally, and I had Thunderbolt as my 4th attack, but I got rid of Thunderbolt and put Substitute on instead, because if I can force a switch out, predict a switch out, I can get a Substitute up, and then I don't necessarily have to predict what is coming in. Like, for example, if he switches in a Levitating Latias, that is a really, really good switch into a Nidoking, then I get a sub-up, and I can hit him with an Ice Beam. I don't have to worry about him being immune to a predicted Earth Power. And then the last change that I made, I had Darkinium Z on my Durant, but I changed it to Steelium Z. I didn't need the extra power from... I felt like I didn't need the extra power from the Dark Z move, because I had that basically on there as a super effective coverage option for like Ghost types, and of course Psychic types as well. But X-Scissors, its stab does not hit Ghost types, and that was the main reason I wanted Crunch. But if I'm hitting that super effectively, then I should be doing enough damage without the Z move. So I have Steel Z just to be a nuke in general. And Steel Z is actually the Smogon recommended set for Durant. So I'm basically using standard Smogon Durant now at this point. So getting right into the game, I learned my lesson from the first time playing this team, and I'm just going to lead with a Zelf right away to see if I can get my hazards up. His only possible defog option is looking like the Empoleon, and if he gets rid of my hazards, well, oh well, I guess there's nothing I can do about that. Unfortunately, both my hazard setters being a Zelf and Araquanid don't really match up too well against Empoleon. I mean, Empoleon can't... Basically, Empoleon's best way of weakening my Araquanid would be from Toxic, but anyway. Because he leads with his Diancie, if he were to stay in and Mega Evolve and gain Magic Bounce, then I can't set Stealth Rocks on that turn, so that's why I just click Psyshock to hopefully be able to hit KO him. Funny, if I still had Energy Ball on there, I definitely would have clicked it, and I would have done a lot less damage to this incoming Eelektross. Because he's more than likely Assault Vest, and Psyshock hitting him on the physically defensive side is doing a lot more damage than any other attack on my set. So I get my Stealth Rocks up, and with a couple of Psyshocks, I'm able to bring him down to a range where he will actually die to Rocks on entry, which is really nice. With a Knock Off and a Volt Switch, he will take out my Azelf. I actually thought he would just click Volt Switch immediately and get let himself get his Weavile in right away so that he could finish off my Weavile finish off my Azelf with a knockoff, and he would preserve his Eelektross at higher HP, but he actually let me get even more Psyshock damage off against him. So he Volt Switches into the Empoleon after Azelf goes down, so I'm going to bring in my Nidoking. I want to make his life for him as difficult as possible to get a defog off. I'm going to go straight for the Earth Power. He doesn't really have any switch into Nidoking or immunity to ground at this point because Eelektross is dead to rocks. But in comes the Snorlax, and I get a critical hit with the Earth Power, which doesn't appear that significant, but because it brought him down below 50%, I pretty much force him to click Recycle on that turn so I can get my Durant in for free and set up a Hone Claws on this thing for free because I'm pretty confident that he is going to switch out and sack the Eelektross to rocks. So I don't have Sticky Webs up. If this Nidoking is Scarfed, then he will be able to kill me with an Earth Power, but I call his bluff. He is not Scarfed, and I knock him out with an Iron Head. I could have potentially blown my Z move on that thing to make sure that I got the kill, but I figured that Iron Head would be strong enough to get the kill because Durant is incredibly strong. If it gets an accuracy boost from Hone Claws and basically negates the accuracy drop from its Hustle ability, it's doing so much damage. It's basically at 2.25 times attack right now with Hustle and the +1 from Hone Claws. This Durant is ridiculously strong. It is so slept on, and I would love the opportunity to use Durant a little bit more in the future. So Empoleon is the next thing to come in, and I have Superpower. Thank you for Smogon for recommending Superpower on the natural set. That's going to allow me to knock out his Empoleon. And now Mega Diancie comes in and his max speed, so he outspeeds me. And Diamond Storm, I live with my Invisible Focus Sash on 1 HP because I was at -1 defense after clicking Superpower to knock out the Empoleon, and we get rid of the Diancie with the 4x super effective Iron Head. I don't think if he had got the defense boost that he would have been able to survive that Iron Head anyway because of how strong Durant is, even though actually Durant there would have been back at neutral attack, but I still think it would have been more than enough to knock it out. So actually I'm going to save my Durant now because I don't have very good ways of dealing with his Snorlax if he gets boosted up. So Durant's Z move is the best thing that I have to hit him. And I would have to go for the Z move because I am forfeiting my accuracy boost from the Hone Claws now at this point. So I sacked off my Mega Ampharos because it was useless to me at this point in the game, because Mega Ampharos is never going to be doing anything while Snorlax is still around. And of course I'm weak to Weavile's Ice-type moves too. And that damage, the knockoff damage, revealed him to be Choice-Banded Weavile, which is really terrifying. I do not have a Dark Resist on this team. That is exactly why I have Colberberry on my Chandelure. So I actually, now thinking about it, I probably didn't need to make this next play that I did because of the fact that I had Colberberry on my Chandelure. But I get Sticky Webs up so that the next time Weavile comes in, he will not be able to just lock himself into Knockoff or Icicle Crash to beat me. My Nidoking and Durant will both outspeed him after he comes in with Sticky Web. So I basically force him to lock himself into Ice Shard, and he can't beat my entire team by locking himself into Ice Shard. So Snorlax, I get him Toxic as well. He gets a couple of curses up. I'm going to switch my Araquanid out because I'm thinking that it's the best thing that I have to potentially take a Banded Knockoff from the Weavile or a Banded Hit from the Weavile. And he does go for the normal type move on this turn, which is good. I switch in my Chandelure to be immune. And now I'm just going to get some damage off against him with the Flamethrower. So not only do I get a little bit of damage off against him before I go down, but I get an extra turn of, I rack up an extra turn of toxic damage against him as well. So he does reveal to have the Earthquake. He's going to be able to knock out my Chandelure since he has that +2 attack from the curses. So now we're going to see a new piece of tech on my team that I made. I have the Nidoking here with Substitute, so I can set up to make sure that I bring him down to a range where after another round of Toxic, I can knock him out guaranteed, and I can force the Weavile to lock himself into Ice Shard rather than a less powerful move rather than the scary knockoff. The other thing I could have done here, I could have gone into my Durant, I would have outsped and I could have blown my Z move, but I chose not to do that. I chose to bring in Nidoking. It didn't really matter what I did at this point with Sticky Webs up. Weavile will not be able to win the game for him. And also, thankfully, he wasn't like a Rest Sleep Talk set. But if he were that set, then I don't think he would have been able to touch my Chandelure, because he probably would have been mono-attacking with Facade as his only attacking move. But anyway, Weavile is banded. He brings it in now to click Ice Shard against my Nidoking, and he is actually going to get a critical hit to knock me out. Of course, that doesn't matter because I win the game no matter what. I'm not sure if he would have been able to kill me without the crit, but I guess we'll never find out. Of course, Araquanid comes in now because my Durant is on 1 HP. Ice Shard would knock that out. And Araquanid is taking nothing from that Choice Banded Ice Shard. And I'm going to be able to knock him out with Leech Life to secure the win. So go figure. I have 2 games with this team. One is against a straight UU team, and one is against a team with Weavile and Mega Diancie that is not straight UU. And I win the game against Weavile and Mega Diancie. I think I much would have rather won that UU tournament game, so I could have progressed further in the tournament than I did, but oh well, you live and you learn. The first game with a new team is probably not going to be the best played game possible, but this game I think I did a lot better with the team. I think it's a really nice team. Yeah, I should mention actually the other reason that I was willing to sack off my Chandelure at that point was because I didn't know if I had enough speed on my Chandelure to be faster than his Weavile at -1 speed, because he would have been at -1 from the Sticky Web. I don't have max speed on my Chandelure, and of course, this being a UU team, I haven't trained my Mons to take on stuff like Weavile, because Weavile's OU. UU teams never have to face Weavile. But that's fine. I mean, I think this is still a really good team overall. So thank you very much for watching this video. We will be back with IBL playoffs next week, quarterfinals against Phantom Base. And also later this week, keep an eye out for an update video on future things that may be coming to the channel. And also, just as this video is going live on YouTube, I am currently streaming on Twitch, streaming some Wi-Fi battles on Twitch. So if you see this video and you want to come out and catch my stream, PlatinumHowler 14 on Twitch. I don't have the 14 on my YouTube or Discord, but I can't change it on Twitch, so I'm stuck with the 14 at the end of my name. So I'll be streaming until 6 p.m. Pacific time tonight, just as you're watching this. So come on out and support the stream. Give me a follow if you have the time, and throw your name in the hat if you want to give me a challenge for a Wi-Fi battle. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next week with the beginning of our IBL playoff run.